So a Garda who impersonated a female colleague online and encouraged strangers to come to her house to rape her and her young daughters will be sentenced next month. That's an article I wasn't expecting to read.
No.
And he pleaded guilty to possessing 4 images of child sexual abuse.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. So
Monster. All-round monster.
he messaged other men on the fetish website and in some cases sent them Google Street View images of the woman's house along with her error code. Flanagan also talked about being interested in cannibalism and being beheaded. And he's a fucking lovely guy. They're going to have to open up every case this guy's ever been involved with. The woman who had been a friend. This is his friend now. And so you can only imagine what this guy will do to his enemies. Or if you found yourself so unlucky to have an interaction with this guy. Could you imagine meeting this guy on the side of the road and you give him any level of lip or pushback? They found almost 700 images of the woman, as well as 219 images of her that had been digitally altered to show her gagged, bound, naked, and prepared to be cooked.
Whoa. This guy.
This.
Wow.
Yeah, this is like fucking serial killer material.
It is.
An analysis of these devices by the Garda National Security Crime Unit identified more than 2,000 screenshots from Pulse, which is the Garda record system, and 32 records of missing persons.
What?
32 records. Which is worrying because I found out the other day that I think starting August of this year, that 50% of the current Garda force are eligible for retirement. Morale within the guards is at an all-time low. So within the next we say 5 years, probably 3 years, that 50% of the current members of Garda Síochána are due for retirement. No, I know, right? No right-thinking Irish person is going to apply. So that's only going to leave it open for new arrivals to arrive. And of course, our government, being the great forward planners that they are, never thought to think in advance. Oh shit! 50% of these guys come up for retirement from 2025 onwards. So let's keep the numbers high. So I think the current force is around 11,000. Half those guys resign. We're down to a force of 5,000 to 6,000 in the next couple of years. They're struggling at the moment to bring in more than 1,000 new guys a year. I believe the attrition rate for even the new guys is fucking terrible because most of their time is spent doing busy work and paperwork. No one in the right mind is going to want to start knocking on people's doors for hate speech crimes. So it's going to be a bit of a clusterfuck, which is great. Because that's the only thing that's going to really change anything.
Yeah.
It'd be glorious to see half them resign, because then it's like, well, what do we need you fuckers for anyway? At least I can drive from here to Dublin in peace. Worry about fucking speeding tickets every 10 meters of the way. So we'll have a look at one guard in particular. I'll just share this screen, which kind of lets us know what kind of people are drawn towards the noble profession. Right, let me share this screen. Where is he?
All right.
Beautiful looking man. Look at those beady fucking eyes. If only you could tell something about people by mere appearances. But we can't run a society based on that. We'll be all be fucked pretty quickly. So Shane Flanagan was in the news, and he's due to be sentenced next month. So we look forward to the actual sentence. Maybe we can have a guess in the chat at the end of this how much of a sentence he'll receive. So being Ireland, we're going to have a look at two different news outfits to find out exactly what's happening. RTE, as per normal, are very kind of sketchy on finer details. So we'll have a look at this article first, and then we'll jump over to the Irish Times and see if we can piece together what exactly is going on. So we'll have a little bit of a read. So a Garda who impersonated a female colleague online and encouraged strangers to come to her house to rape her and her young daughters will be sentenced next month.
Huh.
That's an article I wasn't expecting to read during the
No.
week. I don't think I've ever read something like this before in my entire life. I got as far as impersonated a female colleague online, and then I was shocked.
Hmm.
Find out it was to come to our house to Harry Aber and her daughters as well, which is special. So Shane, who resigned from the force in March, held out there all the way to March. It was looking promising up until March, was it, Shane? And then said, okay, well, no, maybe it's time to resign now. Admitted to 2 counts of enticing 2 men to rape the woman, who had been a friend. This is his friend now. So you can only imagine what this guy will do to his enemies, or if you found yourself so unlucky to have an interaction with this guy. Could you imagine meeting this guy on the side of the road, and you give him any level of lip or pushback? On dates between November and December 2020. He also admitted to 6 counts of endangering the woman and her teenage daughters through his communications online, and he pleaded guilty to possessing 4 images of child sexual abuse.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. So
Monster.
yeah,
All round monster.
yeah, not good enough to be arranging rapes, people to be raped, but yeah, in possession of child sex material as well. Details of the case were revealed today during the sentence hearing for Flanagan. The court heard the woman, who had considered him a friend, was in significant shock when she discovered he was behind the communications. She said that it was not just a betrayal of friendship, it was a calculated predatory act of violence, which had left lifelong scars for her and her daughter. No fucking kidding. Last week we spoke about Natasha and the terrors she experienced by getting punched for being a mouthy fuck. But this is truly shocking, and this should really be on every news outlet in Ireland every day. Like there should be a prime time investigation about this. Like, how did this guy get away with it? What is this about? How prevalent is this? Why wasn't this noticed within the guards? Do we need to be Garda vetting guards maybe every year? Do we need to be going through their social media accounts on a regular basis? Do they need to be tagged, chipped, and like under surveillance all
Yeah.
the fucking time?
Who watches the watchers? Yeah.
Yeah, especially if this is the guy who is sneaking through the system. Now, how you vet for this is a mystery, but surely there must be some psychological test out there that might bring up a couple of red flags. So Detective Sergeant Paul English told prosecuting counsel Anne Marie Lawler that both Flanagan and the woman he had been serving members of An Garda Síochána. He agreed that there had been no relationship or sexual involvement of any kind between them. Flanagan set up a profile on a Canadian-based website, which allows people to interact with each other about their sexual fetishes. Fetishes. Very uncomfortable. The court heard that a subgroup on this website is called CNC, or consensual non-consent.
Yeah. That's a thing.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a thing. The world of rape is constantly changing.
Didn't you see that episode of Law and Order Special Victims Unit, though?
No.
Where there was a prearranged rape and they had to kind of figure out, was it, though? And it was a good episode.
No, I'm not going to watch that program. Where women give advance consent to men to come to their homes to rape them. So yeah, women are strange creatures. Like it's very confusing for men altogether. Like how you argue that one in court. It'd have to be very seriously documented, and you'd have to be very,
Yeah.
very careful of that.
I would want the woman to hold up the day's newspaper and say my name on video,
Mm.
at least, before I go and do that. You know,
Yeah, I'd
that's
be going to a Garda station and a court in advance.
oh yeah, a notary. You know,
Yeah,
to yeah.
I'd want the 3 psychologists to clear it in advance. Yeah, I'd
But
want a
then
lot of
that's all the fun gone. It's not rape anymore.
well, but just fucking go off and rape then. Like if you're not desperate to be raping someone, just go old school rape without the consent because it's a strange fucking world, man. It's a very strange world.
Dars
Uh,
says disgusting. What's the website again?
yeah, yeah, I know. We'll get around to that because Orty won't give you the website. Like I have to say, like in my deviant mind, my first question was,
Mm.
what's the website? Why wasn't I notified of this? Like I'm sure I'm a member of this website, but I don't remember getting any notifications about this woman in Ireland looking to do this. So Flanagan set up a profile using real photos and information relating to this female friend. He also set up a fake Facebook account for the same purpose. So there's some serious fucking planning on in here. And this doesn't sound to me
That's
like this is the
elaborate.
first time
Mm.
that this guy has done this. It's kind of
Well, I think the child abuse material came before this step. Like he was already kind of going deep into
oh
the
yeah.
dark underbelly of like everything, you know? He was
Yeah.
into everything dark, like
Yeah. You're
yeah,
on the last page of the fetish fucking site. You've
yeah.
gone through all the
Yeah, the innermost inner circle of hell kind of stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, what's left? Rape. What happened to or he was on doing it alphabetically. He got down as far as or. Like communications were only discovered in December 2020 when one of the men had been discussing the logistics of going to the woman's house with the fake account, contacted the woman's real Facebook page to make sure she was really consenting. So there's somebody who sounds like they got burnt in the past, or at least is doing their due diligence where, maybe there's something off about this one. Because you'd want to really meet face to face, wouldn't you? Like there's catfishing and then there's fucking catfishing. Like this is the extreme example of catfishing. You want to, I want to be meeting in advance, make sure everything is agreed to. Flanagan was linked with the accounts through his phone number and details found on his laptop. Miss Lawler said that when he was caught, his contention was that this was all harmless role play. I don't think so. If you're arranging to have other men show up at some woman's house and
Yeah.
rape her.
I could see how that would be like a role play fetish, but then you just make up a fictitious woman. Then
Yeah.
at a fictitious. Well, actually, you can't. Yeah, no. You have to make up a house number. But there's only 3 houses in the state, but the number is 305.
Yeah.
Because you can't. Jesus, that's insane. That's a bullshit excuse.
Yeah, role play my arse. Like he set up the account. He's posted details over. He's given these people the woman's details. Let them know that she's 2 young daughters as well. They'd also like to be in on the game, so to speak. And then what's this guy going to do? He's going to be there, like, isn't he? He's going to probably filming in it as it happens. Like it's just incredibly fucking sick. Like
Yeah.
it's unreal. But she told the court he had provided details, including the woman's air code, the make and model of her car, to allow men to gain access to her address. Details of the conversation between Flanagan, purporting to be the woman, and men on the fetish website and Facebook Messenger were read during the lengthy sentencing. Let's have a look at him. Let's see if he looks
Full
panicked.
details of what was described as Shane Flanagan's calculated predatory behaviour were revealed in court. Detectives members of Garda Shane Flanagan, they were good friends, but there was no romantic or sexual relationship between them. Flanagan set up a profile on a fetish website pretending to be the woman. Yeah. He joined a group called Consensual Non-Consent, where women give consent in advance to men to come to their homes to rape them. Flanagan used real photographs and information relating to the woman on this website and on a fake Facebook account. He sent men her real air code, Google Street.
Did they steal his coat Is that his thing in the courts now? Was it like that was his bail? Like, leave your jacket. Like, what the fuck happened? Like,
Yeah, but you said, "Oh, not a bother on him," but like he's been in that building like 1,000 times.
I know, but not like this though. You would think there's got to be
Mm.
some level of shame. Like, I've seen people go to court for
I don't know, man.
they're
If you're
protesting, they're
arranging
hiding their
someone's
faces going
rape,
in. Huh?
if you're arranging someone's rape, I don't think you're like operating on that level, man.
Maybe not. Yeah, maybe maybe he's getting off on the whole fucking thing. Like,
car. He repeatedly mentioned her 2 young daughters and discussed scenarios including breaking into her house to rape her, as well as beheading, cannibal and rape scenarios involving the woman and, in some cases, the teenagers. The truth emerged only when one of the men who was finalising plans to go to the woman's house contacted her through her real Facebook profile and discovered she knew nothing about what was going on. Gardaí searched Flanagan's home and tied him to the offences via images on his devices, including hundreds of photographs of the woman, some of which had been digitally altered. The court heard the woman was in significant shock when she found out Shane Flanagan was responsible. While pretending to be a trusted colleague, she said he had planned for men to find her and her daughters and carry out acts of unspeakable violence. What he had done would leave lifelong scars, she said. The court heard Flanagan had written a letter of apology and felt guilt and shame. He was remanded in custody and will be sentenced at the end of next month. Orla O'Donnell, RTE News, the Central Criminal Court. Full detail.
okay. Right. So the court heard 2 men had been identified and provided statements. Some men had been identified but not provided statements, as you wouldn't, and others had not been identified at all.
Yeah, smart men.
Yeah. Some lived in the US and the UK, whereas others lived near the small rural town. Where, like, how prevalent is this shit that, there's people willing to carry it out in small rural towns around Ireland? Like, so I would have thought, like, US and UK makes sense. I can't imagine like this it's not that big a subculture, so people are willing to travel,
and they're all, those are also the countries where the serial killers are,
Yeah.
So, like, they are nuts, but yeah, seriously.
Yeah. So the first man believed the woman was fully consenting to him coming to her home to rape her. He had confirmed details of her address with the profile operated by Flanagan, and they had got to the details of using the protection. Wow. And whether the woman would go on the pill. It's the last thing you want to be stuck with, is a screaming child at the end of this. Fucking hell. The truth only emerged when he contacted the real woman on Facebook to satisfy himself that she was consenting. Now, there's a private message you're not expecting, isn't it? Hey, listen, just checking about the rape on Saturday.
Yeah. Is that going ahead?
Yeah. Is that AM or PM? I beg your pardon? He told Gardaí that whoever had done this must really hate the woman to have gone to the lengths he had gone to. In the messages, Flanagan, pretending to be the woman, described repeatedly how his fantasy was to have someone stalk and track her, to break into her house while she was sleeping, or to take her while she was out jogging. There were quite extraordinary detailed descriptions in the messages of what the man was going to do to the woman. Flanagan provided a second man with the woman's air code. This man said he believed the woman was fully consenting and was shocked and astounded at how dangerous it was for her. Flanagan had invited him to the woman's house, but the man could not make it at short notice. I'm terribly sorry, but I've got a pre-existing rape at 3:30. I just can't make it in
double
time.
booked, sorry.
Yeah, fucking hell. Yeah, it's off the charts these days. Like, it's just women texting me left, right, and centre looking for the rape fantasy to be fulfilled. He messaged other men on the fetish website, and in some cases sent them Google Street View images of the woman's house along with her air code. Flanagan also talked about being interested in cannibalism and being beheaded. And he's a fucking lovely guy. They're going to have to open up every case this guy's ever been involved with. I know I would. That'd be the first thing I'd do if I'd had an interaction with this cunt. Especially if you've been imprisoned. On his words, I'd be straight on to the solicitor and barristers the next morning.
Yeah.
He repeatedly mentioned the woman's young teenage daughters. Wow. And with some of the users, he arranged dates for the rapes to happen. He also sent some men screenshots of the route to the woman took while jogging in the evenings, which he had taken from a running app.
Oh
Hell.
my God. That's why you need to be careful and not carry around all these fucking gadgets. Like,
I got a fly on me. Yeah, so he's access to her phone now as well. Like, so he discussed cannibal scenarios and fantasies in relation to killing and cooking the kids while sending users genuine photographs of the women and her children. He also discussed giving sleeping tablets to the teenagers and indulged in extensive discussions about what could be done to all three. The images of child pornography found on his laptop involved children aged from 8 to 15, as well as animated images. When Gardaí searched the man's home and devices, they found almost 700 images of the woman, as well as 219 images of her that had been digitally altered to show her gagged, bound, naked, and prepared to be cooked.
whoa. This guy.
Uh,
This fucking.
this,
Wow.
this is like fucking serial killer material.
It is.
yeah.
Yeah. He was just a few steps away from that. Like there's no that there's a very definite fucking journey going on here,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's got momentum.
yeah, yeah. So it's not your average fucking fetishist who's into cooking and eating people. In a victim impact statement, the woman's eldest daughter said she had known the man for as long as she could remember and had gone to GAA matches with him.
Jesus.
She said he had been a close family friend for so long and that the loss of trust was shocking. No fucking kidding. Like, I wouldn't leave the house again, ever. How could you trust any man
Yeah.
after this shit? She said what had happened had affected her sense of safety, her trust in people, and her ability to enjoy life like she used to. In her own statement, the woman said that Flanagan had betrayed her children, and her family by plotting to have her and her young daughters attacked and raped and eaten, and sharing the most intimate details of their lives with strangers online. While pretending to be a trusted colleague and friend, she said he planned for men to find them and carry out acts of unspeakable violence. She said she had taken the love of her career from her. She had been proud of her uniform, but her sense of purpose and pride had now gone. She said it was not just a betrayal of friendship, but a calculated predatory act of violence, which had left lifelong scars. The defence counsel, what kind of defence could you have with this? Patrick Dwyer said his client had written a letter apologising. Well, fair enough. Like, you apologise, so it's all good. As long as you promise not to, rape, not even do it yourself, but to fucking arrange for other people to do it. Like, it's very Machiavellian, isn't it? It's like fucking super twisted,
Yeah.
criminal mastermind stuff. And I don't think this is the first time this guy has done this. I think he just got fucking sloppy. Like, Flanagan said he felt deep guilt and shame and knew no words could undo the immense pain and trauma he had caused. Mr. Dwyer said psychological and probation reports found Flanagan's expressions of remorse and shame were genuine and placed him at a low to medium risk of reoffending. I don't, yeah, like, now that he's been caught, I don't think so. I don't think that's a chance that people will be willing to take or shouldn't be willing to take. This guy should never be allowed out of prison again.
Can we please look into this fucking psychologist, please?
Yeah, I know. A favoured psychologist, I'd imagine. Counsel said even though the court had heard about the sinister and dark aspects of his character, his sister said he never came across as anything other than a gentle, empathic, loyal, kind-hearted person with a sense of humour. But they generally do, don't they? You never hear somebody say, "Oh yeah, we knew we were living next door to a fucking monster, and it was only a matter of time before he'd arranged for strangers to rape us, eat us, and kill us." Well, not in that order, but the court heard Flanagan lives a lonely, isolated life with no job or friends, and very little way of a social contact. Well, no fucking kidding. I wonder why. He's aware he had serious sexual problems and wants to address them. You know,
Well, I think he has been addressing
yeah,
them too much.
yeah, they're
Actually.
being addressed now, like, and for quite a while to come. Miss Justice Eileen Creedon said she would sentence Flanagan on July 29th, right? So we have till July 29th, we have that date to look forward to, see what the sentence is. I would, I'd have to, you'd have to be something very serious, like maybe 14, 15 years. If there was any justice, he wouldn't be allowed out until everybody he's affected has passed away. But would we be surprised if it was like a, I don't know, 2-3 year sentence out in 18 months?
Can we put him in like a cage that's like suspended by a giant crane by Rosselair Harbour, and then he just like starves and dehydrates to death, and he just becomes this skeleton that's just there, and that so people coming into our fine country know how we treat people like him.
Yeah, that would be fair, more than fair to me, especially given the position he had. Right, so it was pretty detailed for RTA, so, well done. At least they didn't bury it. But they left out some rather important information. So we'll have a look at the Irish Times here.
That's mad, because, I thought that was everything.
We'll find out. When we find out, the name of the website. So we'll see how brave we are if we want to visit the website when we're finished getting through this. I know I do.
We were going to have to turn off images if we load up that website. Yeah.
All right, you're aware of it already, so that's good to know. A former Garda has said a colleague carried out a calculated predatory. Yeah, we'll have to leave it. No, we'll leave it. It's too much to fuck about. We leave that life. We leave that for, if you want to have a look at that in your own private time, by all means do.
Yeah.
But stay away from certain sections. A former, I wonder if his posts, they wouldn't be still up. They'd have to be taken down at this stage, wouldn't they? Or maybe the Wayback Time Machine, would that get us into
Wayback Machine? Maybe. Depends how popular it is, yeah.
All right. So a former Garda said colleague carried out a calculated predatory act of violence. Okay, Shane Flanagan, address in County Clare, on fetlife.com, and on Facebook for the purposes. Created accounts using a woman's personal information. We know all that. Garda English, we know about that. Flanagan pleaded guilty to possession of forms of child sexual abuse. Okay. Reading her victim impact statement. Here, we're aware of that. The court heard that the woman became aware of someone was using her image on FetLife. Okay. His home was searched. Here we go. His home was searched on January the 17th, 2021, and items including a phone, a laptop were seized. Flanagan provided passwords for these devices and email addresses. An analysis of these devices by the Garda National Security Crime Unit identified more than 2,000 screenshots from Pulse, which is the Garda record system, and 32 records of missing persons.
What?
32 records of missing persons. What type of person keeps records of people who've gone missing? Like little mementos?
It sounds like trophies to me. Yeah.
Like this guy, this needs to be seriously fucking investigated. Every one of those 32 missing people, like those cases need to be re-examined,
So this is probably just like some light fun for him on the side.
Yeah. This is just filling the time.
Arranging someone's rape. Yeah.
And just, as a filler, like a light lunch before the next main course of actually fucking killing somebody.
What?
Maybe, perhaps. Like I've watched enough fucking serial killer programs.
Yeah.
Like,
But it might just be survivorship bias. Well, what am I saying? Jesus Christ!
Come on, like Pulse records, 32 records of missing persons, and 18 images of Garda age identification documents. Forget that. Just let's focus on the 32 records of missing persons. Now, in isolations, that would be worrying. If I read a story like, a guard was found to have the records of 32 missing people, in his possession. But the question was, why? Like, what's he keeping that from? Has he got some weird fetish about dead
Very least
people? Or
it's weird.
yeah, weird. But then when you find out that the guy's arranging to not only have people raped, like a mother and her daughter was raped, but would actually like to see them, tortured, beheaded, and eaten. Well, then there just may be grounds to investigate those 32 missing people, and question this cunt about them. If that's not happening, well, then we need to essentially scrap the whole Garda Síochána, just get rid of them, because it would be, beyond negligence not to look into that. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm being, histrionic here, but to my mind, it's like, okay, we found these 32 records in your house, and it's been discovered that you're fantasizing about beheading people, and these 32 people who've gone missing, we believe they were beheaded. Maybe, just maybe, there's some connection here. Yeah, I'm fucking deeply worried. And I need to. I think what we need to do is we need to start looking at these missing persons. Like, when did it say this guy? Did it say when he joined the Guards? I don't know. How many missing people are there in Ireland? There can't be that many, can there?
Bro, people
thousands,
show up missing on social media posts. Those kind of posts, like every 2 weeks, and not all of them are found.
All right, fuck.
Yeah. And we're not going to get the list of those. Actually, maybe it could be a part of court documents now and publicly available. Also, we can what do you call it? Freedom of information.
Yeah.
When he joined the Guards. Yeah.
And even just going back to records, of old news reports. You can have a look at archives. Even do it within a fucking 20-mile radius of where the guy was actually working, and just see how many missing people have happened to turn up from that particular area. We can't say for sure that he's responsible for this at all. We can't say that at all.
No,
but it's more than a fucking coincidence. Like,
it raises questions.
Yeah, serious fucking questions, and I think well worth looking into.
I mean, like, we may be, getting ahead of the Gardaí here. They probably are looking into it. They're just not coming out with it now. Can I punctuate this moment with this serious, horrible moment with something lighthearted and optimistic? 300 subscribers, baby.
There we go. Happy days.
Thank you to all who have subscribed.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Now we have to. I want to look into this. I'm firing the cameras up, heading to wherever the fuck he was. But yeah. But again, why would RTE leave that out as well? Maybe they're just not aware of it. But yeah, because it just screams to me serial killer. And I told my wife about this today. Like, she was very excited, I have to say, because she loves all things serial killer, and she can't understand why there aren't more serial killers in Ireland. And so her first reaction was, "Ooh, an Irish serial killer." She's going, "Wasn't there some serial killer in Northern Ireland?" I said, "I don't know." She goes, "Oh, well, that doesn't count anyway." So she's very excited at the fact that there might be, honest to goodness, serial killer in Ireland. And I'd be amazed if there fucking wasn't, given the amount of people who actually have gone missing, and we never get to hear of them.
I've frequently had that thought,
Yeah, and it would make sense that it would be a fucking guard, like.
Yeah, it's fucking Hollywood movie stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, because who would have so much power and an organization that's so impenetrable and has been
and wisdom as to how the system works and stuff like that. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely looking into this. See, the login details for FetLife.com account were auto saved to his browser. Okay, maybe a lesson there for me. um, and this site was accessed 4,000 times between October 2020 and mid-January 2021. Well, that's to be expected, isn't it? Like if you're,
I mean, I say, yeah, page loads and all that. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
4 images of child abuse material were found on his laptop. Okay. False Facebook accounts. Okay, yeah, we know all about that. Yeah, letter of apology. Yeah. So again, it's just this 32 records of missing persons. That's even kind of more. I didn't think it could get more shocking than when I read it initially. And thank goodness I went looking for more than just RTE, because this is, if anybody hasn't read the Irish Times, that's probably going to completely go by unnoticed. But the guards, they would have to, wouldn't they? You couldn't just, let that go. Oh, well, well, what have we got here? Oh, child porn, records of missing people. Sure, no further investigation is needed here. But given that we know how fucking corrupt and incestuous
That
guards are,
organization is, yeah.
it will be fucking
But
buried.
also, I really wish maybe someone in the chat can tell me which channel I'm thinking of. Well, it's also a podcast and a YouTube channel, and it's got an American guy on, and he had an Irish guy on. I don't know if this is a regular thing, but they do talk about Ireland quite a lot. He is Irish American, the fella. I think he was, I don't know, some stupid plastic paddy name he was using. And they were talking about that farmer that was found in his own slurry tank, right? And the Irish fella, he made an excellent fucking point about that investigation, because he was saying, look, this guy that was staying on his land, this is like fucking what do you call that Netflix show about like back in the 70s, or I think it was the 70s, when they were piecing together the psychology of the serial killer, and so something, anyways, good series, disgusting and dark, but good series. He was saying, look, the Americans, they have that figured out for fucking decades, but these Gardaí, they're fucking useless in that fucking context. Like they just have no interest in that kind of fucking investigation. We do have criminal psychologists over here and all that, but I don't think they're like on the ball really.
No, I don't think so at all. Given what we read in the RTE one, it was like, yeah, what's your findings there, Mr. or Mrs. Psychologist? Yeah, well, he seems genuinely happy, or remorseful. Sorry, not genuinely happy. He seems genuinely remorseful. Therefore, yeah, I believe him. And why wouldn't I believe him? Like, I used to work in the Department of Justice, and I've had, immigrants coming in every day, and I believe every fucking story he told me. And the same with this guy. I believe everything. And from what I know about Irish psychologists, which isn't great, but a lot of them tend to have sympathy for attackers as well. They tend to view them as actually the vulnerable party, because they're so fucked up, and there's this kind of weird idea that everybody needs empathy. Not this fucking guy. And you're right. Like, I don't think there's any like unit within the guards that would be capable of carrying out a proper investigation into a serial killer, given that it takes them 20 fucking years to discover the most basic crimes. Mindhunter, okay. Oh yeah, that was a good series. And I find it beyond belief that there are no serial killers in Ireland. I just think there's, like you said, we just don't have the manpower or brain power within the guards to actually, or willpower to investigate them properly. They're just more concerned with low-level petty horseshit and tax evasion and hassling people on the road. So I'll be amazed if anything comes of this. If we, well, obviously we're not going to hear into an investigation. Joseph Fritzl.
Fritzl.
Oh, was that another serial killer? Is it?
Oh man, that guy was nuts, man.
Is
Like,
this an American guy or a Russian guy or
German?
German? All right. The name was a giveaway, wasn't it? Fritzl. I'm not aware of him. I could only take so much. The serial killer stuff that freaks me out after a while because it's you think you can take your own mind to dark places, but Jesus fucking Christ, like when it gets into eating people and just the pure level, yeah, it makes it real. People say evil doesn't exist. It fucking does, man.
Oh yeah,
yeah. When we see guys like this, and this is a guard, like so. God only knows what hassle this man has put people through. If you're willing to go to the ends of the earth to do something like that, like it's nothing for you just to send some guy down for fucking 2 years to plant evidence on them, to set somebody up who someone may have looked at him crooked, and he'll send them away for 5 fucking years, man.
Yeah.
And then you go in front of a court or a judge and say, but, and they're like, oh well, no, not one of our guardian angels. They would never act in such a fashion. Austrian, all right, yeah.
I'm being corrected big time in the chat. Thanks, guys.
Austrian, yeah, best type of Germans, Austrians. Yeah, so I'm going to make it my business to find out who those 42 missing people are, or at least narrow it down. Yeah, all the jokes. Yeah, what does that say about our listenership?
I like my true crime too, but man, it like you said, it does some fucking damage to your brain.